of acclimation now in the new system, and they appear to have acclimated quite well. The issue, as I pointed out earlier, is 25 jellyfish into a brand new tank, and they were very buoyant, so they all wanted to be at the top. That's where the exit is in the tank, and as the new water came in, it would be the mechanism that kicks the circulation portion of it, the rotation. But at the same time, that water has to exit, so it took a number of those jellies and kind of pushed them up into the exit grid. The jellyfish are extremely delicate, kind of like a piece of wet toilet paper floating around in the tank, and there's a few of them in here that gotten beat up. Almost look like a waffle pattern across the top of the bell, which is basically tears. You can see the egg crate grid pattern right in the side of the bell there, so they got a little beat up sitting up at the top there while the system got started. And I expect to lose those. And a few times a day it's come across my mind that that's a hard lesson to learn. A hard lesson financially to learn. And the learning curve here is getting to be expensive. But it all works towards a goal, and that is to be able to offer a product with as much information and insight and experience so that that customer can become successful. Because the more successful he is, the more successful I'll be. Now, one of the things you'll notice that's different about these jellyfish, which are warm water jellyfish, is they seem to have a much more obvious rim than the Japanese strain. These are Gulf of Mexico. And it appears as though that's the most obvious variation that I can see on them. They are warm water, whereas the Japanese are cold water. The Japanese are at 60 degrees. These are, well, we're going to call it 80 degrees.
So we'll let these jellies continue to acclimate overnight, and we'll check on them the first thing tomorrow morning, see how well they're doing.
Well, you can see here, a lot of those jellies did not fare well. There's a lot of parts of jellies in there. But there's also some good ones in there. So what I need to do is get in there and separate the two. That's too bad. Lesson learned.
Looks like about 50% of those jellyfish, for whatever reason, just dissolved or developed holes and fell apart. That's too bad. So we're going to go ahead and siphon out the ones that are not doing well and try to separate them from the ones who are. We'll use a simple siphon hose and drain this down into a 5-gallon bucket. We've shut down the system so that none of the jellies that are doing well escape out of the system, and then we'll replenish that water. We just now need to make sure that we don't suck up any of the good jellyfish with the siphon. So the real question at this point is, why did that shipment of jellyfish not do well? They appeared to be doing quite well when they arrived. Was it too long an acclimation? Was it too short an acclimation? Was there too big a variance between the salt water and the new water? Because looking at the number that we've had to siphon out, it's rather frustrating to not know what the answer is. So far, my luck with trying to bring in wild-caught or wild-collected jellyfish, as opposed to tank-raised jellyfish, has not done well. It's at this point, at what I'll refer to as the frontier of the marine aquarium hobby, that there's no one to ask the questions, or more so, no one to answer those questions that you need to ask. So it's another situation of blindly moving forward, bumping into the wall, or not bumping into the wall, and figuring out what works and what doesn't work. So tune in again as we pursue another shipment from our Florida supplier.